When the wreckage of the French Rafale, with the tail number BS001, was burning in the Kashmir Valley, did this air battle herald the end of an era? The hegemony of the Western military industry was being completely penetrated by the systematic combat capability of China. On May 7, 2025, the sky of South Asia was pierced by the Thunderbolt 1-5E missiles fired by J-10, which not only rewrote the perception of the performance of the 4.5-generation fighter aircraft, but also tore a historical rift in the map of global military trade. On May 7, 2025, in the skies of South Asia, the Thunderbolt 1-5E missile fired by the J-10 broke through the sky, not only rewriting the perception of the performance of 4.5-generation fighters, but also tearing a historic rift in the global military trade map. Pakistan Air Force with 0 battle losses to shoot down 5 Indian warplanes, the value of $8.8 billion. Rafale myth, burned to ashes. The air war behind the refraction is the equipment generation difference, system confrontation and geopolitical game of the complex symphony. The essence of this air war is the informationization of the combat system of traditional equipment stacked dimensional blow. The Indian Air Force has 36 Rafale fighters with a unit price of $244 million, but it is equipped with Meteor missiles with a maximum range of only 100 kilometers, in the face of the Thunderbolt 15 × 10 to the power of 150 kilometers of range and double-pulse engine to bring the Mach 5 end of the speed of surprise in the over-the-horizon confrontation into an absolute passive. More fatal is that India's universal brand equipment system leads to the data chain cannot be interoperability, the French Rafale Spectre electronic warfare system, and the Russian S-400 air defense system to fight separately. The early warning aircraft and fighter aircraft communication delay of up to 17 seconds. On the contrary, Pakistan relies on the ZDK-03 AWACS to build the air information network with the active phased array radar of J-10, realizing the real-time locking of the target 70 kilometers away, forming the closed loop of the killing chain of discovery that is to destroy. This systematic advantage is visualized as a crushing battle loss ratio at the tactical level. In the early morning of May 7, the 3 Indian formations just crossed the line of actual control, and their trajectories were captured by the Ba'athist early warning aircraft. The J-10 fleet fired Thunderbolt 1-5Es in unison 50 kilometers behind the borderline, with the missiles guided by the data chain to complete a mid-range trajectory change, eventually covering the Rafale formation in a fan shape. The first downed Rafale BS001, its pilot until the radar alarm sounded 3 seconds after the shrapnel through the cockpit, even before ejecting to escape. This, hunting in the air, mode of operation, so that the Indian Air Force is proud of the Su-30 MKI vector thrust technology is reduced to a pose, not yet into the fighting distance. 70% of the force has been cleared. The Rafale's meteoric rise triggered a chain reaction that directly impacted €43 billion in undelivered orders. Egypt urgently called off the purchase of 54 Rafale, and instead examined the Chengdu aircraft manufacturing plant. The United Arab Emirates postponed the first delivery of 80 orders until the performance evaluation is completed. Even Greece, the traditional sphere of influence of the French, has also asked for a review of the combat effectiveness of the 24 Rafale that have been received. This collapse of trust stems from Dassault's technological double standards. The Rafale sold to Serbia is equipped only with 80-kilometer range Mika missiles, with the Meteor missiles and electronic warfare module neutered, and the contract stipulates that French technicians can inspect the aircraft's core systems at any time. In contrast, the J-10 Pakistan obtained not only contains the source code of the Thunderbolt 1-5E missile, but also can independently upgrade its fire control software through an open architecture, and this transfer of technological sovereignty has completely subverted the rules of the game of Western arms sales. The U.S. military-industrial complex also suffered a shock. The Pentagon plans to refurbish 288 F-16C on the market strategy in the J-10 only. $24 million in front of the unit price is completely ineffective. China's warplanes are only 60% of the price of the F-16V, but to provide more advanced gallium nitride radar and electronic countermeasures system. What makes Loma anxious is that China created the military trade ecological chain model. Customers can synchronize the procurement of VT-4 tanks, 054AP frigates and Wing Dragon, -3 UAVs, through a unified data chain to achieve synergy between the 3 armies. This turnkey solution to the United States of America's fragmented equipment purchases dwarfed. In the face of the crisis, the United States hastily threw out the concept of the sixth-generation fighter aircraft F-47, claiming that its combat radius of 1,000 nautical miles and all-directional stealth, but the model is still in the PPT stage, while China's sixth-generation aircraft scaled-down model has been unveiled in the Zhuhai Air Show. The speed of the intergenerational catch-up with the West shuddered. The air war has exposed the strategic dilemma of the middle powers. After signing a €3 billion order for the Rafale, Serbian President Vučić discovered that it could not even break through China's export-grade air defense network, whereas the same budget would have been enough to purchase 32 J-10CEs and receive technology transfer. But the geopolitical reality is cruel and unusual. NATO's airspace blockade so that even the Serbian transportation corridor are controlled. The introduction of the red flag, 9B need to be Turkey's special authorization, not to mention the import of the entire aircraft. This security dependence paradox is more prominent in India. Its Rafale procurement implies €5.8 billion of technology transfer fees, in fact, reduced to the French plutocrats and India's oligarchs to transfer the benefits of the cloth. Reliance Defense is Moda's close friend Ambanis Enterprises, in the absence of military experience to obtain the General Assembly qualification, exposing the deep-seated foci of corruption in military procurement. The deep-seated foci of corruption in military procurement. For China, the victory is both a milestone in technological breakthrough and a litmus test of strategic certainty. Did not choose to personally play, but through Pakistan to realize the equipment verification, not only to avoid the risk of direct conflict, but also to complete the actual combat marketing. Middle East countries. To the United Nations representative revealed that there have been 12 national delegations to visit Chengfei, inspecting the production line of J-10CE. The success of this agent verification mode, marking China's military trade from price competition to the value of the output, Egypt in the introduction of J-10CE at the same time, supporting the order of 054P frigate and Rainbow 7 UAV. Building a complete regional air defense system. The stickiness brought by systematic export is changing the logic of geopolitical alliance, and the movement of Saudi Arabia to consider replacing its F-15S fleet with J-10CE hints at the loosening of the military-industrial hegemony supported by petrodollars. When Dassault engineers face Rafale wreckage silence, when Loma market value evaporated $5.8 billion in a single day, the flame over Kashmir has ignited the global arms trade order reconstruction fuse. From the instrumental advantage to system hegemony leap, China's military industry is 23% annual growth rate of R&D investment in gallium nitride radar, intelligent skin, high-energy microwave weapons and other 23 key technological breakthroughs. The collapse of the Rafale myth is just the beginning of this silent revolution, just like the trajectory of the Thunderbolt 1-5E tearing through the clouds. The rise of China's military trade is rewriting the power map of the post-Cold War era.